Hey everyone, Sneptorka here, back for another reaction video. It is October 1st, which means it is time for another revenue review of the data that came out. I'll tell you, I've been trying to shorten these more and more each time because I don't want to take forever. So I'm going to tell you what I'm looking forward to, what's going on, and I'll give you insights on the stuff I know. I'll skip over, glaze over. Well, I guess that term doesn't work anymore. I'll skip over the ones that I don't know much about, and we'll try and speed this up. But as for things I'm looking forward to, I want to see if Yuno was more popular than Augusta. If she wasn't, then Wuthering Waves is in a downward trend that I think people should be worried about with Wuthering Waves. Augusta should have been a huge revenue boost, and it really wasn't. So that was a surprise back in August. I want to see how Nod Cry affects Genshin Impact. I want to see if it increases more. I want to see if if Brown Dust 2 is continuing their track record of just continuing to slowly improve. I want to see if Reverse 1999 was able to kind of hold their revenue from the Assassin's Creed collab with the Nautica banner that came out on global side. We'll see if that happens. Nothing really in Honkai Star Rail. I don't expect much from them. From ZZZ, I don't think. Well, we'll see how good Orphe was, but I don't really expect too much from ZZZ as well. Those are kind of the main things that I'm looking for. And then, of course, I want to see how my games are doing as well. So, at the very bottom here, we can see Dan Machi finally EOS'd. It's such a disappointment. For those of you who don't know, Dan Machi used to have a game beforehand in this, and it was called Memoria Freeze. It was around for a while. It was decent. It was okay, but the stories were enjoyable if you liked the IP. And they decided to bring out a new one, and it was so horribly managed that it managed to kill the old game because everyone was switching to the new one, and then it was so horribly managed that it ended the EOS. It managed to EOS within like a year. It's really disappointing. It sucks. I'm disappointed. It had potential, but they focused too much on PvP and whatnot, and that's frustrating, man. Like they didn't listen to anybody, and I'm still frustrated about it. It irritated me. So service ended. It's gone. Most of these I don't know about. Elpis Fallen Star, I've never heard of this. I may look into it just to see what it looks like. Hegan Aruthiol, I'm surprised this is still continuing to make money. This is, I think they're is it this game? I think it's this game. They're gonna basically relaunch this. From what I've heard. Like, relaunch is completely different. We'll see how it turns out. This one was interesting when I played it. It was a little bit different. Yeah, this doesn't surprise me. That is just doing so poorly right now. It's mostly because it's just kind of, yeah, it's a generic, like, Eversoul-like game, and, it needs that revamp. So we'll see what the revamp brings. It's kind of interesting that they're just rebuilding it from scratch and trying again. Because the characters are interesting and cool. But we'll have to see. So I don't know much of these. Outer Plane, I expect, with CZN coming out this month, I expect Outer Plane to... I mean, you can see this massive drop here. I think Outer Plane is going to die. It's done. I think it EOS is next month. Or maybe a month later. That's kind of the way it looks. Neuro Cloud, man, Girls Frontline Games just keep them online no matter which is kind of cool. Makes you feel better for like any of the Girls Frontline games that you like and are worried about. Rememento White Shadow, I feel like this game suffered from no I've said this for a few months now. I feel like this game suffered from not very good marketing. I feel like if you had swapped the marketing of this versus Etheria Restart, that this game would be extremely strong and continuing to thrive. But instead, Etheria Restart, a garbage game, got all of the marketing, and yeah, it just didn't turn out very well. So most of these, I've heard of this, but not much about it. Starseed, I actually did test this the other day. This game is not that good. It'll go down pretty quickly. Eversoul going down, man. You can see a lot of red here, man. A lot of red here. Let's see. Girls Frontline, the regular Girls Frontline. Ricci City. This is, I believe, I think this is like it's on like the same launcher as it's like the stove launcher. That's the only reason I can understand it. I know what the word is. Okay, Ash Echoes. This is actually on my tablet, and I keep meaning to take a look at it. But I mean, as you can see, just along with all the others, it is not doing well. Valkyrie Connect, Horizon Water Unison League. Is this new? Yes. I'm betting. Okay, this is. Okay, this is something maybe I'll take a look at. I'm always interested in trying new names when I see them, just to see what it is, and we'll see. Tower of God continuing to go down. Let's see, Idoli, all the Idolmaster games. Goddess Order, never heard of it. Another game that I'll take a look at and see how it's doing. Dolphin Wave is another one that I think this probably could have done good in global, but they refused to bring it over from Japan, and it's going to suffer the same fate as Uma Musume. Uma Musume probably would have been way better off now if they just released globally from the beginning, but Japanese games for some reason like to do something different. Dislight, huge downside. I don't know what was going on. Anchor Panic, this is brand new, and I see a lot of people talking about it. This is another game that I may want to, download and just see what it's like. I need to stop adding more gacha games, especially since CZN and Do It Night Abyss are on my, to-do list for this month. But, I keep wanting to see them all and see what's going on. Echocalypse, this is surviving entirely based on the little head of global players. That's basically it. Dragon Raja, never heard of it, honestly. Never heard of it. Is it globally? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, I've never heard of it before, so that's kind of interesting. Guardian Tales. So Lost Sword, I just started playing this month. A 50% drop in revenue. Eve came out, but I don't know who came out beforehand, so I'm not as well versed in the game yet to understand why this drop occurred. So that one, I'll have to wait until next month until I know for sure. But Eve came out, and I don't know what's on the horizon. I haven't gotten that deep into the game yet, but I have been spending a long time in it. It's just, I don't know, it's just fun to sit there and play it. Sword of Convaleria continuing to go down. I don't really expect much out of it. Mekarashi, this is another one that I've been starting to try out. And man, there's a lot of drops today. I'm kind of surprised. So here's the first one of a game that I really play, and that's Snowbreak. Snowbreak, let's see, this past month, the month before was the kind of tail end of the anniversary units. So it didn't do that great. And even though this past month, September, was a new unit, I don't expect it to go very far. However, it did have the beginnings of a new swimsuit banner. So I'm surprised it only got this high. It could have been based on the skins. I'm not sure. However, they added dubs to the entire game, and it was a joy to listen to it. I did it yesterday, the story, the most recent story, and it was the first time we had it dubbed. It was really nice. But this game is surviving. However, it seems like a lot of games this month just lost in a lot of revenue so far. So we'll see. Silver and Blood, I just started this, so I don't know why there was such a massive drop off. It could be because the new unit that I'm trying to get came out in August. I don't know. Like the equivalent of a pilgrim in Nikkei. I don't know enough about the game yet to tell you for sure. So let's see here. Evertail, Etheria restart continuing to drop. I expect this to continue to just nosedive. It's a terrible game, man. It really is. I re-downloaded Path to Nowhere to see it, and it's just too old for me now. Like, it maybe would have been good later, a few years ago, but it just hasn't held up. And even though it's got a really interesting story and it's very unique, with the whole like sinners and whatnot, I feel like I've it's past my time. Heavens Burns Res. I don't know why this had a massive drop off, but dang, you're just seeing so much in the red here. Oh man, there's a lot here. Okay, so small change for Honkai Impact Third. Not really much there. Fire Emblem Heroes, man, this drop off is huge. I haven't seen Fire Emblem Heroes drop down this much in a long time. I'm wondering if the game is finally starting to fall apart. This is actually very interesting. This is the first time I've ever seen him go this low. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, I have now pretty much put Fire Emblem Heroes in maintenance mode. I'm just tired of being beholden to it. And it is, like Genshin, it is a game that I have actually spent on. And so if it ever starts to like fall apart and like get closer to EOS, that'll be the first time ever like a game will EOS that I dumped money into. And I don't know how I'll feel about that, but we'll see. I regret a lot of the money that I've spent in Fire Emblem Heroes, but I don't regret it that much because it has given me the entertainment value for that money that I've spent. And as long as that has occurred, I'm okay. Same thing with Genshin. If I ever didn't get my money back from that, then I would be upset. So Limbus Company went up. I have no clue what came out in Limbus Company. I re-downloaded it and tried it again. I just can't get into it. It honestly sucks that you basically have to deal with the same 10 characters or whatever, and you can just buy different costumes or whatever. Like I couldn't quite understand the exact makings of the Gacha system, but not really not doing it for me, especially since like if you don't like a person, like if a banner comes out for a character you don't like, all of a sudden no one's gonna spend any money on it, and it's gonna be a real problem if a lot of people don't like a certain character. They can't make any alts for that character because if they do, they're gonna lose a ton of money. That's a problem that they're gonna run into. So with all these negatives coming out, Girls Frontline 2 Exilium hitting a loss, but not a huge loss, is probably a good thing. Let's see what came out. Beginning of September, it had Jianghu, it had Belka, and Andorras. And honestly, all three of them are not that big of a deal. The previous patch, let's see, I'm trying to think, was like what, Chopois? It was the tail end of Springfield as well. So I would say this is still doing like this is still okay for Girls Frontline. Obviously, you never want to see, money go down, but this is still okay right here. And I'm actually surprised. I am. because and let's see here. So as you can see, the Chinese, it's held up by Global. Like Global makes most of its money. So yeah, all those claims like from Sticks and all those other people that are like, I'm quitting and the management is so poor. No, it's doing just fine. Like those people are grandstanding. Don't give them the time of day for them to do that kind of bullshit. It's just annoying, man. Yeah, there are things that I don't like. The Gacha skin, I'm not really a huge fan of, especially since I'm really gonna want that Klukai skin. But you know, they gotta make money in different ways, and they're pretty generous in terms of getting resources. And it blows my mind when like some Gacha players throw tantrums and they're like, well, I should get what I want because I threw a tantrum. No, you don't. Like, you gotta come at it with, like, some logic and reasoning. And they met with the people from Girls Frontline 2. They met with some of the Chinese players and they talked to them. And they reassured them on certain things. They said, yes, no, the gotcha thing is still going to stay, but we'll give you more chances to get free currency and so forth, so that you can like get the skin yourself. That's all you can do. Like that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, so this is doing fine, and I'm sure all the naysayers are going to be like, well, just wait until you eat your words. Like, I know everything, and trust me, this is a downward trend. No, it's doing fine. Especially with the new dorm coming out and so forth. I'm excited for what's coming. The game is still running beautifully fine. It was the biggest oxymoron listening or hypocritical statements listening to Stick's claim that he was quitting the game. It is doing great right now. It is like, oh man, the game is great. I enjoy it so much, but I'm quitting it because its management is bad. No, the management is fine if the game is doing great. There are things that can improve, but yeah, it makes me really salty when people are grandstanding and pulling shit because luckily that didn't have an impact, but sometimes people can have an impact and they can ruin games with their grandstanding. So this is good. And what is this the... Okay, so this is the Chinese version. Is this the Southeast Asian version? They increased downloads? Okay. Okay. Or not increased downloads, they increased revenue by 20%. Like, hey, that's not bad. And here you can see this is global. So global didn't really change much. This is interesting here. Global about 600,000. A lot of their money comes from... This is Korean, right? I didn't realize that a majority of their money comes from Korea. So if you're sitting in America and you think that you have a lot of sway because global is doing good, you gotta remember global isn't all about you, okay? It's not just America. A lot of times global can mean just like everywhere but China or everywhere but Japan. And in this case, global means everywhere but China. And as you can see here, this is I'm if I get this right, this is Korean and this is Japanese, okay? And both of these account for, it looks like each part of the global side, Japan, Korea, and everywhere else, accounts for about a third of the revenue each. Okay? And if that's the case, these like more Japanese people were playing more. And there wasn't a huge drop off for Koreans. So all of that big talk about leave, like people are like leaving the game, like all of the guilds are dying. Yeah, no, get over it. I hope to see this bounce up even higher just to prove all the naysayers wrong. I think Levo will come out next month, and so this number is going to turn around and be in the positive next month. So that'll be interesting. It looks like I'm gonna have to re-download Slime Isekai Memories. I rage quit this a long time ago because I was pissed off at the Gacha system. But it's continuing to do well, and I think I need to re-download it and see how it's going. So here's Brown Dust 2. It went down. I believe we had swimsuit skins. No. Gosh, it's hard to remember what we had. Oh, that's what we had. Okay, so last time, and yeah, it was swimsuit skins, because that's when the Therese special skin came out, the cow thing, which I like. I hate that, but you know, some people, that's like kind of their thing. Whatever. So this is interesting. It didn't drop that much. So I think Brown Does too is starting to find its groove and its monetization method. Worry less about you know, the characters, and instead start going for some of the special skins. Now they did announce that I think only 4 skins a year or something like that. Still, that's pretty good, and those skins are generally very lewd, very. So, all right, we have some of the Girl Coomer games in here. Blue Archive. This is always difficult to tell because China and global are on such different trajectories. Sorry, I think it's Japan and global. I can't remember. Is it Korea? I don't know. They're on different trajectories in terms of what's going on. I think Japan is the one that's different. Anyways, globally, huge drop in revenue, but I think that's also because there was a anniversary of sorts last time. I can't remember which side had it. And so when that comes out, you're going to have massive revenue. So who had the massive drop off? Yeah. So as you can see here, it was a Japanese anniversary. So this is predictable. Don't worry about this. You'll be fine. Epic 7, the Free Ring collab came out, and it seems like it's doing good. That's good to know. Like, I'm excited for that. I believe Fern comes out today, so that'll be pretty exciting to do. Let's see. All right, here's Reverse 1989. A 3 million drop off. This is to be expected. The reason why is because this was a combined banner. So imagine having an anniversary that was combined and how much money it would make. So as you can see here, the big drop off in China, however, it's less in America. And that's because there's an anniversary going on in America. So this this makes sense completely. Hong Kong and Taiwan, I don't know which version they're on, to be honest. So, considering that this is more popular in China than globally, for them to have a big downside, that's to be predictable. That's to be predicted. And, yeah, overall, I wouldn't worry about this. Still hitting 4 million, pretty good. Reverse 99 is continuing to do well, which makes me very happy. So, let's see. Shadowverse, this is a card game, and I can't get behind that card game. Like, this is a card game more in the style of... It's more in the style of, like, Hearthstone. And I don't like card games like that. The Reverse 1999 type card game is something that's more my speed, and I'm really excited for, like, what CZN brings. We'll see how complicated it is. So Azure Lane breaking about even from where it was last time is kind of interesting. It is all on the same server globally. I'm wondering if they just didn't get any data in from last time, which could have been the case, because there was an increase, like there was a UR event. But then again, a UR event, that's getting a UR isn't really what pays the bills for Azure Lane. It's the skins. And the global anniversary didn't really come with much in terms of characters, but it came with a lot of zesty skins. And so that's probably why the increase or decrease, if it were that, wouldn't be that much. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the skins this time around are ninja skins. They're kind of just okay. Compared to the hot spring skins that we got, which were incredibly lewd and preyed on little boys' boners. I'm not surprised that it barely made a move. So it also could be faulty data. A lot of zeros here, which generally means things are not. A lot of zeros means that a lot of the data didn't come through. So let's see. I don't know much of these. Kaiju number 8, the game. I believe this just came out. I don't even know if it's global. I'll have to check it out. But this is one that I kind of want to see in how it's going. I think Omni OG is a. What's the word? It's another card game. I'd have to check on that. But we're starting to reach the top here. Here's ZZZ. It dropped again. Is that surprising? What do we have? The release of Seed and then Orphe. Yeah, Orphe isn't as big of a deal as I thought she would be. And so I think people are going to hold off. It was just Seed and Orphe. That's all it was for the month of September. I don't know. We'll see. I think Lucia, when she drops, which will be like the 15th, I think. Yeah, I think it's the 15th. It's still a ways away. She's going to be huge. And so I think this number is going to turn upward. Very much like Wuthering Waves last month. If we don't see this number turn upward, we're going to be in trouble. Like, things are not looking so great for ZZZ, which is a shame because I think the game is going in a fantastic direction right now. It's doing pretty well. So, we'll see if it turns around. This isn't surprising. Seed and Orphe are not as popular as I personally have liked them. They're not like Astra level. They're not Yuzua level, which, somewhat makes sense. So, we'll see. I have a feeling that Lucia will turn things around. Probably not Yidari. I think people, they just don't want another Ice DPS. They just don't. So Lucia will change things around, and I think after that it really depends on what comes after Yidari, which we don't know yet. So we'll see. All right, let's check out some others. We have Goddess of Victory Nike. Collab. I mean, only 4 million for a collab with Resident Evil. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's not the greatest collab. It's just kind of a weird fit. The units look good. I know people were bitching about Ada Wong not having enough jiggle physics. Get over it, man. But overall, it's kind of okay. I think I'm gonna pick up Jill, and then that's it. I'm not gonna bother with Ada. I just don't feel like it. So we'll see. And I may not even bother spending any of my resources. I may just use gold tickets and grab her and call it a day. So we'll see. But overall, going up a little bit, considering the month before was pretty much just trying to think what was the month before. I think it was the end of swimsuits. So it's not too bad. That was the Boom and Dorothy banner, but I think Dorothy came out at the end of the tail end of July. So the rest was Elig release, which she wasn't as popular. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think you're not going to see this Goddess of Victory Nikkei number explode until November. Like we won't see, like it's going to go down probably next month, maybe back to around 14 million, maybe even lower. We'll see. But yeah, uh, the collab isn't doing much, and October isn't going to do much for the game. It's going to have to be whatever comes out in the anniversary, which will be huge, and so November will be a massive month. It'll be up in the 20, 30 millions probably. Hey, Howard Cohn, how you doing? All right, so this is one of the ones I was interested in. Wuthering Waves. It seems like I think this surprised a lot of people, but the waifu status of Yuno was just so good that she did better than Augusta. I think that's surprising. Now, I mentioned last month, I said if this number goes down, Wuthering Waves is in huge trouble. Luckily, it didn't. It's not out of the woods yet. It's the same. It's in the same place as ZZZ. Like, it needs to be careful. But people are losing interest in the game. It's like 2.0 has finally drifted off, and people are no longer excited for it anymore. And so, like, I'm wondering where people are going to go with this, which is interesting. Like, I think the game is continuing. Like ZZZ, I think the game is doing great, but the interest is dying off. So we'll see. Maybe 3.0 revitalizes it. I don't know. I don't think this upcoming patch is going to be good for it. I think this this is right here. This 7 million boost is and only And I think this is going to crater next month. It'll be down to probably like 12 or even 10 million, like ZZZ down here. And I'm sure, the same suspects will come out and cry and say that the numbers aren't accurate and so forth. And it's true, they're not perfect, but it's one of the best indicators we have. It can give us trends. And right now, Wuthering Waves' monetization right now is trending downward. And I don't know. I don't think Galbraina's going to bring it up. Neither is another dude. Like, that's just, like, people aren't interested in that type of thing for Wuthering Waves. So we'll see what happens, but I'm still worried about Wuthering Waves. I am happy, though, that managed to recover where Augusta strangely failed. Augusta should have been, like, an absolute banger in terms of monetization, and for some reason it wasn't. So happy about this. I'm glad it's recovering, but I don't think the recovery is going to last long. We'll see next month. All right, let's see here. We got Arc Knights. I don't know much about it. This is surprising to see a half, like literally 50% drop in TCG Pocket, which I don't know how this game operates, but I think they bring out new stuff every month. So it may be just that the cards that came out weren't that great. I don't know what to say. So, I was spoiled by Love in Deep Space being at the front. Like, I caught that. This surprises me a little bit. Let's talk about Honkai Star Rail first. HSR, I didn't expect to have a rebound with Ceridra. Because that's essentially who came out with Ceridra. Who, have they launched the next character? I'm losing track with how many games I'm playing. If they launched the next character, did they? Let's see, Ceridra, and then after that is supposed to be March. Oh, Darch. Okay. Seems like Darch put up some numbers. I'm a little, like, it shows the popularity of the original cast for Darch to be able to do this. She's not broken. She's not the best. But she's solid and a top tier. So being able to pull this number, this is pretty solid. I'm surprised by it. Now this number is going to crater next month because it'll be releasing a banner of a character that we already have. However, when November hits and we get Cyrene, this will skyrocket probably to the 90, 100 million range. So Honkai Star Rail is as crazy healthy as ever. And I'm sure that all those haters from Wuthering Waves are just seething in their little compartment of the brain that's completely rent free with Hoyoverse games up there. This is interesting. So I'm a little surprised by this. This is actually kind of cool. I did not expect March. There's always that disconnect when you don't really resonate with a character or like a character, and everyone seems to love it. That's the case with this one. Like, I just don't care for the goth march. That's not my thing. And but apparently a lot of people like it. Not a fan of the jellyfish and whatnot. So Nod Cry came out for Genshin Impact, and this is a little bit of a surprise to me because I thought it would be bigger. I thought 50 to 50. Yeah, I figured it would be about another 10 to 15 million higher. That means Lauma is not as strong as people thought. It also means that Genshin Impact's influence is probably starting to wane. For a major patch to drop and it not be crazy popular, I don't know. Maybe people are just waiting for certain characters that they really like Columbina or Nefer. There were a lot of people who were like, oh my gosh, Lauma's so... Put some clothes on her. Like, she looked just fine. Like, they need to get over it. But overall, I expected Nod Cry to be bigger, and it didn't. So, I think that's pretty much it. Girl Kumars are once again back on top. They just can't help themselves. So... yeah, if you ever see someone like bitching about something like Snowbreak or Nikke, and then you look in their timeline and they play Love in Deep Space, just block them. Like, they're not worth associating with. Like, you can't be hypocritical like that. Anyways, some of the surprises of this one, TCG Pocket losing 50%, I think is a huge surprise. HSR doing better than I thought it would, and then conversely, Genshin Impact not doing as much as I thought it would. Otherwise, I think probably the biggest surprise is that the main games at the top are doing very well. Other than that, you can see down here, so much red starts to show up. It seems like all the other smaller gacha games just really got hit this month. I mean, there was just nothing but negatives as we were making our way up the list. So those are kind of the biggest surprises. I will be most interested next month in whether or not Girls Frontline 2 has a huge upswing, because I think a big unit is going to come out. I could be wrong, but I think a big unit is going to come out. I'm interested to see how far HSR drops next month, because it's going to drop hard. Genshin Impact, I'm curious to see if this stays the same, because Flynn's was released just yesterday, so a lot of the data for Flynn's will be in October, and on top of that, we'll get the first wave of Nefer. So I expect Genshin Impact's revenue to go even higher next month, because Flynn's is a very popular male character, which doesn't happen much. I'm curious to see how far Wuthering Waves drops next month. It will drop. Sorry. Galbrena is not that popular. And then I'm also interested to see if ZZZ recovers. And lastly, I want to see if Snowbreak turns around, because right now I'm kind of surprised this one surprised me a little bit. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Overall, not too interesting of a month of a revenue report. Probably the thing that I'm happy most about in this one is the fact that Wuthering Waves was able to recover with Euno. the like most waifu character to ever come out in a gacha game in like 2 years. So that's pretty awesome. And there's some on here that I need to try. Overall, that's pretty much it. So we'll see what happens next month. And yeah, hope you guys like this breakdown. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Neptorka out. See you guys.